You know, it's not every day that one EV charging network changes the landscape for EV drivers in an entire region. But in Northwest Arkansas, Walmart EV Charging has set out to do just that, and not a moment too soon. Over 3,200 battery electric vehicles are registered in Benton County, Arkansas. And up until this year, only 2 non-dealership DC fast chargers could be found in Benton County. Now, Walmart EV Charging is looking to add 6 DC fast charging locations right in their backyard. On Friday, May 1st, 2 of those locations came online in Bentonville, and I wanted to check them out and see how does Walmart implement DC fast charging at its smaller neighborhood market stores. All right, so for this morning's charging session, we're going to go to 80%, and we are starting at 15% this morning. So about halfway between where I like to be and 10%. So for the temperatures this morning, we're looking at 68 degrees on the battery. It is nice and chilly this morning in Northwest Arkansas, 42 degrees. So I think this will give us a pretty good charging session, hopefully just over 30 minutes. Let's get plugged in. All right, so this morning we're at Neighborhood Market 4376 in Bentonville, Arkansas. This opened just a few days ago on Friday, May 1st. So let's take a look at what we're working with over here. I'll go ahead and start a screen capture for you. Again, you don't even have to open the Walmart app. All you have to do is come over here and then get that QR code right there. So now it'll take us straight. And if you notice that they have a new way of doing scan and go here, that's really cool. So I'm going to click on CCS, and you can see there we're at 32 cents per kilowatt hour right now, and we get 10% off on top of that. Like I said, I came here early in the morning, and so we're going to get to take advantage of time of use rates. I'm really here because, well, all these Walmarts get slammed after 10 a.m. So, all right, we're authorizing our payment, authenticating, and now we're blinking, so we can go ahead, grab CCS handle, swing arm around, plug it in, and now we'll get started. Let's see how we're doing. All right, we just beeped here. We're at 14% starting this morning, and we're going to get our ramp up here. Looks like we're getting everything that we want for now. We'll see how that holds on 10 minutes into the session here. Let's go ahead and take a look around the site. Take a look at the switch gear here. This is actually manufactured by ABB. And then if we come down here, you can see that we finally have the meter that allowed all of this to come online last week. Let's see if we have a number on this one. 1500 kVA on this particular transformer. So again, just a touch oversubscribed, but not by much that I think anybody charging will ever notice that it is oversubscribed. All right, so let's take a look around the parking lot from where we are charging. First, right over there is the Walmart convenience store and fueling station. That's actually not a bad place to go if you're this close. I mean, they have milk and essentials in there. You don't even have to go in the store. But you can check that out. Get an icy, get a snack, something if you're traveling through. But as you saw on the way in along US 71, chances are this is a local stop, not necessarily a traveling destination for those who are charging. Really cool here. They put brick down. Now, those are not charging stalls, but they put brick down to replace the surface of those particular stalls. Rest of the parking lot looks like this. The store is right over there, pretty close. You'll notice how small the parking lot is. Again, being a neighborhood market, these charging stations will take up a larger bit of the footprint in the parking lot because parking lots are just smaller at neighborhood markets than they are at supercenters. Something else of interest at this neighborhood market, you take a look, right over here is the pickup grocery area. But it is back to back with Walmart EV charging. So, stands to reason that this location will probably get online pickup for groceries while you're charging your EV pretty quickly. It would be really easy for them to just, slap a pickup sign right here that says EV1 or EV2, and you just choose that. So that's pretty exciting. I think this location will see that feature come sooner rather than later. And it's all really tightly knit over in this corner of the parking lot, out of the way. People have already been picking up their groceries this morning, and it's just now 7 a.m., so Walmart never sleeps around here. All right, so we just crossed the 10-minute mark into this session, and I want to show you that I have received GM Update V661.1 because this charging session is not doing the best that I would like. We're already down to 122 kilowatts. Now, there might be a couple of different reasons for that. First of all, I preconditioned, but this charging session started below 70 degrees, just below 70 degrees, and on the battery pack. So I don't know if that played a role in it. Usually it's closer to 80, but for whatever reason, preconditioning, it just did not do anything to warm up the battery this morning. But you can see that we are already down to sub 400 amps that we are drawing. And if we go take a look at the temperatures, there's nothing there that should suggest it. We should be this low. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think I have an idea, though, based on some previous conversations. So let's go check it out. All right, so let's take a look at the graph. And I bet there's a dip already. Yep, right there. I've been noticing that this is starting to come up now around the 6 to 7 minute mark. And my understanding is that GM Ultium cars now, they are requesting a drop of amperage somewhere around 6 to 7 minutes. Could be heat related, could be timing related, almost like a boost period. I don't know exactly what it is. Don't eviscerate me in the comments for not knowing what it is. I just know this dip right here does a couple of things. One, it decreases the amount of amperage that's requested, but two, it makes the Alpitronic Hypercharger turn off one of the power modules. And then when one of the power modules turns off, this car likes to overreact to it. And so that's really what can start your decline, is actually this vehicle right here kind of getting freaked out by this particular charger turning off a power module. I blame that more on the car. Like, the car has to be able to react to that appropriately. And I'm not saying that this is, terrible. I mean, but it's starting to pop up even more that this exists. What makes me disappointed this morning is that high sustained power right there did not sustain for very long at all. But the fans on the Blazer EV just now kicked on, so maybe we can keep this number higher longer than usual. But yeah, I think that there's something going on between GM and Alpitronic that GM probably could stand to work on a little bit better with how it manages the amount of amperage that the vehicle wants on a decline. Now, last Friday, May 1st, this was not the only Walmart neighborhood market to go live in Bentonville. One across town on Southwest Regional Airport Boulevard went live, and I took a visit there yesterday just to show you around. So let's go down there. And welcome to Neighborhood Market 4686 here in Bentonville, Arkansas. Just wanted to show you this location really quick while we are still charging across town. We got the Alpitronic Hypercharger HYC 400 units installed with both NACS and CCS, as we have seen in every build so far. Big, thick, air-cooled cables. Again, they're going to be a little hard to work with at first, but over the summer, these will definitely become more manageable. Brand new. Nobody has charged here yet. Came online yesterday, so I'm very excited to see this. We'll show you around. There are 3 different Alpitronic Hyperchargers in a row here, and then one that's standing on its own, useful for handicap accessibility with signage to encourage you to use it last, and all of the markings around it to reach the screen safely, so that's good. So a great location here. We'll do a full charging session here and show you the rest of the amenities. There's a great one being built right over there that I can't wait for. We'll show you that in the future on the Arkansas e-Traveler, so be looking forward to that. Let's get back to the charge. All right, we are now 20 minutes into this charging session. Still says it's going to take 15 minutes from now, so somewhere around 35 minutes, which is what it predicted at the beginning. Battery pack, though, those temperatures are starting to come up. So my guess is that, 105 kilowatts. That's not terrible. So what has happened is, if we go out here and look, this looks like the old days of when I would charge on 350 amp charging at store 4108 in Springdale. So because this was not high for a long time, it allowed this to stay up longer because of the battery pack not getting overheated from this really high sustained period. Aside from this looks very typical from when I would charge on 350 amp charging. Maybe you still do that at Electrify America today. But I did it at the beta site at Walmart EV Charging for about a year when it was free. So looking good. This is kind of staying up a little bit higher than normal because this was lower than normal. And that's just typically how charging on the GM Ultium platform goes. Let's talk about amenities at this location. That's probably it. And this Walmart neighborhood market is kind of tucked away. It's more of a local spot. There's a Greek restaurant off over here. There's another grocery store back in there, but crossing Walton Boulevard, I would not recommend to try and get there. This neighborhood market right here has more of the grab-and-go style deli. It does not necessarily have the hot deli. Those are available at the Supercenters and a few of the neighborhood markets around town, just not this one. While we're in the middle of this, I want to show you something from Supercenter 100 in Bentonville, Arkansas. Just down the road that way, there is something very unique going on at that construction site for Walmart EV Charging. Let's check it out. As soon as construction started at Supercenter 100 in Bentonville, things began to change. They were not following the plans that I had found online at all. And it looks like they made a major change here. ABB A400 units are coming to Bentonville at Supercenter 100. They're already installed in the ground as construction crews finish up everything around them. This means that Bentonville is the only town so far where we have found both Alpitronic and ABB A400 units in the same town. Likely, this is so that corporate associates can see both of the hardware vendors at work for Walmart EV Charging. But at any rate, Arkansas now joins California as the only states where we have seen both Alpitronic and ABB implemented by Walmart EV Charging. All right, and we just hit 80%. It will probably top up one more mile and then we will be done here. So let's take a look at the temperatures of the battery. Did not hit 120 on the max, but we did cross 115 on the average. So it probably did have an excuse to dip if it did. Here's a look at the stats for the charge session itself. Took just under 33 minutes, and we came in with a subtotal at $19.69. So by using the off-peak rates and by using the Walmart Plus discount, came in on this charge from 15 to 80%, under $20 on your subtotal. So if we come take a look at the charging details of this session, no GM dip. And I'm glad to see that. Other than that little cliff at the beginning, and it actually kind of recovered from it. So maybe things are doing better than I first thought with this particular way of charging. But I like this. There's no dip. Now, does that mean you're always not going to have a dip? Absolutely not. Remember this morning it's near 40 degrees and it's the first thing of the day that we did. You typically, I've noticed, can get away without having a dip if it's the first thing of the day that you do. But if you drive all day or even let it sit in a warm parking lot all day, by the time you are ready to charge later on, it's too warm for the battery to not dip. So just keep that in mind. The dip is not necessarily gone, even though we didn't see it this morning. But there is improvement because we used to see it every charging session no matter what. But as that just proved, things are getting better. Let's unplug. Here from Neighborhood Market 4376. Again, we'll have a review of the other location that opened this week in the coming future. Hey, it's a great time to be in Bentonville, Arkansas if you drive an EV, and a lot of us do. This county seems to have as many Teslas and GM Ultium vehicles and just EVs in general as anywhere else in the region, and we love to see it. So glad that Walmart has 2 locations open now that are going to be very, very useful for us EV drivers. So from Neighborhood Market 4376, I'm Landon saying happy trails.